So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Brandon Lewis, saying that the Irish sea border checks are a legal requirement of the UK's deal with the EU. He does kind of contradict himself a bit, saying the protocol is not sustainable in its current format, but will separate these two articles out into two kind of separate videos. So let's listen to what the BBC have to say about this, which they actually do some good work for once.
Well, meanwhile, Brandon Lewis has also told MPs Irish sea border checks are a legal requirement of the UK's deal with the EU, and it's right that they continue. Last month, the former Agriculture Minister, Edwin Poots, ordered his officials to stop checks, but they're still happening pending the outcome of a court case. Let's speak to our economics and business editor, John Campbell, who is with me now. Should we be surprised by what Brandon Lewis had to say today on this?
Well, at one level, we shouldn't be surprised because it's been clear since the protocol was signed in 2019 that the UK government had signed up to certain legally binding commitments, including checks on goods coming into Northern Ireland from GB.
Now that's important because it was always clear from the beginning this was the case. So despite what the Tories say, oh, it's a surprise, or the implementation or interpretation and all this nonsense, that's bogus. Because this was always going to happen under the agreement that they had signed.
However, at times, ministers, from the Prime Minister down, have been a bit reluctant to admit that's what they had signed up to. And even when Mr Poots made his move last month, some ministers were a bit circumspect about what their legal requirements are. But Mr Lewis was much more explicit. Let's hear what he had to say about those checks.
They are still ongoing. Our view is that they are a requirement, they are a legal requirement, and it's right that they are continuing. Of course, even taking those away doesn't necessarily in and of itself even solve some of the issues that businesses are having, certainly for Great Britain to Northern Ireland trade in terms of the extra paperwork.
What did Brandon Lewis have to say about Article 16?
Well, Article 16 is that part of the protocol which says that if the deal is causing serious difficulties, then safeguard measures can be introduced, which...
However, there's a 1 month delay on it, and it goes through the joint committee, and, through the joint committee, Liz Truss in this case would have to state why the UK is using Article 16. It has to be very limited and specific, as Brandon Lewis would say, and if the EU accept that Article 16 can be used in these specific cases, then the EU can give the go-ahead for this, and it's fine. If the EU say, actually, no, we don't agree with that, then the EU can take retaliatory tariffs if they want to. So, not the best work from the BBC.
Which would effectively be suspending parts of the protocol. Now, Mr Lewis repeated...
Again, that's not 100% true, though, is it, mate? Really? Because you'd have to look at the annex with the protocol, with the Article 16 text as well, as we've done so several times on this channel. Like, why the BBC, with all of their producers and researchers, couldn't also do this is very surprising, despite the fact that this video that they put out is not bad.
That the UK government's position is that the threshold has been met for using Article 16.
Again, they keep saying this, but they won't explain exactly how the threshold has been met, because if they can't explain it once it goes to joint committee, Safcovic is like, that's baloney.
However, he gave no indication that the government is going to use that any time soon.
It's almost like they don't have the legal justification to do so.
He was pressed on, well, you're negotiating with the EU at the moment. You want to try and get a consensual resolution, but how...
We're not really negotiating with them. I guess you can argue we are. We're trying to tweak the deal. However, it's nothing, the deal was already signed.
How long can that process go on for? And again, he wouldn't really commit. All he said is that they wanted to have this sorted out well in advance of the next general election, which is in 2024.
And so, they've got 2 years... Well, about a year and a bit really to actually resolve this, which isn't that long at all. The only other thing I've got to add is, if the EU don't accept the our triggering of Article 16, what that means is that it can go to something like arbitration or to the European Court of Justice. So the BBC's interpretation of Article 16 is wrong. And, Brandon Lewis talking mad rubbish about the protocol, so we'll talk about that in a separate video. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.